morning, everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about how I tapped into my spirituality. It is going to be a little bit of a long video, only because I really wanted to get into detail about everything that I've been through, what happened in order for me to realize and be conscious. Off in August 2017 when I started to feel like I hit rock bottom. Something changed in me that I just lost all motivation. I felt like I didn't know who I was. I was angry all the time. I remember I'd come to work and I just feel so alone, even though I was in a work environment where there was tons and tons of people. It was constantly busy. I always felt so isolated and by myself. I couldn't understand why. I just felt like the whole world was against me for some reason and everyone hated me. And that kind of reflects back to how I felt back in the day years ago in high school. Even though I was surrounded by different people and all these different friend groups and different cliques, I always felt like I never fit in. So because that happened to me in my workplace, I felt like, oh my God, why is this happening to me again? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling the same trauma that I felt back in high school? As an adult, I was hoping, okay, I'm here for my career. I'm here to find myself. I'm here to gain more knowledge and build myself as a person. And all this drama started happening and I didn't understand why. I felt like nobody wanted to listen to what I had to say, and my relationships were going down. My house situation was not good. Like, everything just came crashing all at once. I remember I ended up seeking a therapist and she and I were talking and she told me that, yeah, you know what, you have signs of depression, you have signs of anxiety, and we really need to work together in order to figure out how you can have sleep again. Because my biggest issue was I started having insomnia. Every single night I would wake up at 3 a.m. and I didn't know why, and I could not sleep for the life of me. So this started around August. And I went for a couple of sessions with her and I feel like it did open my eyes up, but it wasn't as helpful as I had hoped. So what I would do at work on my lunch breaks, I would just like walk around in nature, get some fresh air. I literally did laps on my like 15s or my 30s. And then I'd be just drinking smoothies every day thinking that like fruits and vegetables were gonna help me. Like, I was really just trying to change my mindset, because no matter what I did, I always woke up with darkness. And I remember this used to happen to me back in high school, but being as young and naive as I was before, I didn't understand how to deal with those emotions. I didn't know what was going on. So I'm not proud of this, but I reacted in ways that I shouldn't have reacted. I reacted violently. I reacted aggressively. I was not a caring, loving person on the outside, and that's not who I truly was. I knew that I was hurting and I needed help. Just reflecting on that, because it was happening again in my workplace as an adult, I didn't understand what to do. I did like exercise. I started to like rant to friends. I started to like lose friends. There was a lot of people that I was close with, but during that time, during that shift, I just ended up losing them and I felt so alone. I was wondering, like, why does everyone hate me? Like, what did I do? What did I do? And I constantly asked people, like, what did I do wrong? Tell me what I did wrong. Because when you're so hurt and you're so depressed, you do things and you say things that you don't know is hurting other people because you're so damaged. And it truly affects everyone around you when you're depressed. And when you're in that state of mind, you don't know what's going on. You don't know how you're reacting, how you're feeling, how you're vibrating, and you don't know who is being affected. So I was like playing the victim. I was like, what did I do? What did I do? I didn't understand. And reflecting back now, yeah, I did make some mistakes, and I am human, and I do realize that I may have done some things, said some things that hurt people around me, but I know deep down that was never my intention. My intention in my lifetime is never to project hurt. It's always to project love and light. If you know me and you're really close to me, you know that I'm so caring, so genuine, so loving. I love hard. And it's just sad to know that people out there that are like me, that feel as much as I feel, get the shit end of things. Like, I know that I mentioned before that I am an empath. Reflecting now on the past and how I was, and how even though I was surrounded by all of these people and all of these energies, I didn't understand how to react. When I hit that depression state in August and I started to seek help, I ended up quitting my job because I thought, you know what, maybe if I just leave this workplace and move homes, I can start a whole new life and everything will be okay again. I ended up starting a new job, and wow, it was like the most rough time of my life because I was just trying to run away from my problems. That's what it truly was. Like, I was quitting my job that I truly loved. I was so passionate about, and then I like abruptly went to a new job, and I just wasn't in the right state of mind. And when you're not in the right state of mind, everything around you is not gonna flow nicely. So because I was in such a depressive state, everything around me was going wrong. I was like being talked down to, I was being mistreated. People were saying things about me like, oh, Melissa's not good enough, like she's not, like, just negative things. And when you're already hurting and you're hearing all these words, hearing the gossip about you when you know it's not true, it really digs deep. But the thing that I've realized now is it's not true. And it's none of my business whatever other people are talking about me. And I need to realize that these are their opinions, but at the end of the day, I go to sleep with myself. And I'm happy with that. After that, I ended up moving into a new condo, and I remember saying to my mom, like, Mom, I really need to get my house blessed. I really need to do it. Like, we had such bad negativity in the previous unit. So then my mom reached out to a reader who also is a healer and does Reiki as well. And she ended up coming to my home. She blessed the whole place. She saged it. She gave me some crystals. She did a reading. And the reading was so accurate. She basically said to me that I have been going through a hard time this year, but in a couple of months, everything is going to shift for me. Everything is going to change for me. And then that's when I went into work a couple of weeks later. I remember I was really upset, like really depressed. And I had a lady come in who is a brand representative for a certain brand. Then we started talking. I remember I shook her hand to introduce myself to her, and I felt this huge rush of like energy go through me, but I just ignored it. At this time, I wasn't as spiritually in tuned as I am now. So I didn't get that shock, like I didn't understand. So after that, she started to get closer and closer to me, and I was wondering, why is she getting so close, right? Like, my personal bubble. And then she kept looking at me, and I kept like wondering, why is she looking at me? Like, it was just odd, very awkward. And all of a sudden she said to me, oh, you know what, the day is looking really great. And I'm like, yeah, because you manifested it. And I don't know why I said manifested, like it just came out of my mouth. And she was like, yes, manifestation, that is what life is all about. And I was like, are you? And she goes, yes, I am. And I said, are you really? And she goes, yes. Yes, I am. And I didn't even finish my sentence, so that was trippy all in itself. And then I go, oh my God, and I dropped my guard. I remember I wasn't as uptight, I wasn't like in my personal bubble anymore, and I was open to what she had to say. So I said, how did you know that I was into this stuff? How did you know? And she goes, I just know. And I said, are you a medium? And she goes, no, I'm not a medium, I'm a mystic. And she basically told me that a mystic is 1% of the population that is similar to Gandhi and Mother Teresa. So that was amazing. And after that, we just had like a long conversation, and she told me things about my life that nobody knows. And at the very end of it, I asked her, what do you see when you look at me? And she said, I see a little girl with her hand up, reaching for something, and nobody is reaching back. And that is a sign of isolation and rejection. So after hearing that and reflecting on it, I realized that my inner child has never been healed. I've grown up with a single mom. I've always been kind of isolated. I've always been the only one out. I remember days with my cousin, we'd go out to someone's house, like a relative's house, and they'd all hang out together in a bunch, and I'd always just be like left out of there, wanting to wander out on my own, collect bugs, collect rocks. Like, I just remember always feeling the need to be wanted, and I didn't understand, and I just let it happen. And that just seemed to reoccur throughout my entire childhood, that wanting to fit in, that feeling of wanting to be a part of something. But because I was so different, and because I felt more than what others felt, and I was real, I was too dramatic for people. And because I didn't know how to interpret these feelings, I didn't know that I was absorbing other people's energies throughout my lifetime, that I would react in anger, I would react in like fights, I would react in just horrible ways, that right now I just feel everything that I've gone through, the traumas and all that, it was kind of like my karma. I accept the way that I was, and I release that into the universe, and I'm sorry for the people that I've ever hurt. I forgive you, and I forgive me, and I'm able to let go and move on. After my talk with the lady, I started encountering a lot of other people that were similar, like mediums and healers and Reiki masters and such like that, and people that were wearing like the same bracelets as me. I started to see these things, I started to see signs, I started to see numbers. The numbers that I always see is 222 and 555 and 1111, and there were just like things that were happening around me that I couldn't explain, but I felt like it was a sign. So it's almost like ever since I talked to that woman, it kind of clicked in my mind. And then after that, I remember having a talk with one of my friends, and she said to me, Mel, you really, really, really need to see my healer. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm down. Like, okay, I'll see her. And she's like, Mel, this is not even a request. This is like a demand. Like, you need to do it. So I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. And then I booked an appointment, and I went into her house, and she and I connected in a whole different way. Like, I would say she's one of my soulmates, because months before at work, she had come in, and I remember I was in a bad mood, but when she came in, it was almost like a light bulb in my darkness, and I ended up helping her. I ended up selling her a couple of products, but I wasn't like overdoing it. I wasn't upselling or anything. It was very naturally done. So she ended up buying products. We had a really great connection, really good energy, and then she left, and I haven't seen her since. until the day when I walked into her house and we looked at each other and we were like, oh my God, did you know? And then we were both like, no, we didn't know. So that was the universe's way, I feel, of reconnecting us and showing me that I was meant to meet her. It was almost like when she came into my workplace, it was like a little glimpse, and then now is like the real deal. So she ended up doing Reiki on me. She was playing some music in the background, and I remember her telling me that she could see my energy and it was just anxiety, like staticky. And I believe that because my heart was racing, like I was sweating, I didn't know what to expect. And then I ended up starting my session. I laid down on the bed and she started tapping into things and saying things that nobody knows, like in the present moment that I was going through that nobody knows. And then I tend to like zone out a lot, so she even caught the times when I was zoning out. Like, I didn't say anything, I was just laying in the bed with my eyes closed, and she had her hands over me, and she was like, okay, stop going into the clouds, like come back to me, and I'd be like, oh my God, how did she know? And then she'd be like, yeah, I know, blah blah, and I'm like, oh my God, does she hear my thoughts? So it was really crazy, it was really cool. We proceeded with the spiritual healing, and she ended up telling me which chakras are not aligned and which chakras are not spinning, and she ended up like healing my heart chakra. So my heart chakra actually had a wall around it, and it took years and years and years for me to build it, and she ended up being the one to help me break it down. And when she told me, okay, we're gonna break down the wall now, what weapon do you want to use? And I chose some badass like weapon, you know, those like spiky balls. What are they called? Spiky balls. Let's see, spiky ball. I guess it's called a medieval flail. So I ended up choosing a medieval flail to break down my heart wall. And by doing this, it was all like in your mind. So I had my eyes closed, I was taking a deep breath, and I still remember when she was like, okay, we're gonna go up to the wall now, are you ready to bring it down? And I said yes. And then I still remember walking up to the wall in my mind and grabbing the weapon and just smashing the wall. I remember just smashing the wall, and then I started crying in the session. I remember she was telling me, good job, keep going. And the walls just like shattered in my mind. Like I just saw the shattering. And as soon as it finished shattering, she knew. She knew that my wall was down. And she said, good job, good job. And I remember bawling my eyes out during the session because I've never felt such a feeling of release, such a feeling of happiness and freedom. I still get emotional talking about it because that was just such a big moment in my life. Like all the years of isolation and rejection and anger and resentment just was taken off my shoulders. And I'm so grateful for her. I'm so grateful for that. I love her to death. She is like my favorite person on the planet because she was able to reignite the light in me that I always knew I had, but it was shielded by darkness. And she truly saw the potential in me. And for someone to really see your true potential, it means a lot. Like, I've always been told, oh, you're not gonna amount to anything, like, you're all beauty but no brains, like, oh, how come you're not doing good in school, like things like that. And it always brought me down. If ever I told my family, like, oh, I want to work with animals, I want to be with animals, and they'd be like, how come you don't want to be like a doctor or a nurse, or like, it's just because I know my heart and my soul is not supposed to be going to that direction. Like, I always knew I was different. In school, I could never concentrate. I was so bad in school. With math especially, I could not do math. But anything that had to do with like life skills or like arts or anything like that, I was always so good at, and I was always so passionate with. Like if we had a class with animals, I'd be all up on it. She told me, now that your heart wall has been broken down and your heart chakra is showing green and you are now healed, you are ready to heal others. And I remember thinking, oh my God, finally I can heal others. Because I've realized everyone who I've been very close with or who I've had relationships with have been broken or have been very damaged. And I always wondered, like, why do I attract this? Like, why do I attract such negative energies? And now I realize it's because I'm an empath and I'm a healer. So because I'm a healer, I attract those who need healing. That's my sole purpose, is to be a healer. And because I'm so passionate about animals, I feel like I need to do something with animals and healing. And after that session, something clicked in me, something changed. I realized so many things about myself that all made sense. I realized whenever I get sick, it's because I've absorbed other people's energies around me. Like during my depressive state, I remember in May, I had insomnia for 5 days straight, like 5 days straight, and it was insane. I remember wanting to die. Like, I remember calling my cousin, I remember calling my mom, calling my boyfriend. I'm like, please take me to emergency, something's wrong with me, I can't sleep. And then like my cousin would be on the phone with me just telling me like, it's okay, everything is gonna be okay, I love you. And I just wanted to die. Like I couldn't deal with it anymore. But something inside of me was telling me like, no, keep going, keep going. So I called my dad. My dad ended up bringing me to emergency right away. And then I got tests done. And then they said to me, you know what? This doesn't seem like a medical issue. This is a mental health issue. And I knew it. Like I already knew. And I ended up talking to a social worker. And she was asking me a bunch of questions about suicide and stuff. And I was being very honest. And she ended up giving me a sleeping pill. And I took that sleeping pill that night. But it didn't work. Like, so many things were not working. I've tried literally everything, even cannabis, like everything, and nothing would work. Oh look, it's 11/11 right now. Oh my God, 11/11, October 11. Signs. So that was the time where now I'm reflecting is I get sick so often. Like it's crazy. Like I'm always sick. And during that time of insomnia, I realized it's because I was meant to wake up. Like, I know this might sound crazy to some of you, but I feel that my angels and my guides were telling me like, Melissa, you need to wake up. You need to wake up. Like, realize that you are so special and you have a meaning in your life and you have a purpose. And because I was so dark, like my mind couldn't get out of it. Like I remember I went camping with my boyfriend's family and I told them openly, I'm like, yeah, I'm depressed. And then they said to me like, why are you depressed? You have nothing to be depressed about. And it's like, I told my mom like I'm depressed and she's like, you know what, Melissa, that's all in your head. Like you can get over it. And it was almost like I was reaching out for help from all these people and I was begging like, help me, help me, help me. But nobody could help me. And then I realized nobody can help you when you are depressed except for yourself. And that's when I really had to spend time alone. And I would just feel so sad. Like I remember I always asked my friends to come over. I'd be like, hey Jazz, can you come over? Or hey Ashley, can you come over? Like I never wanted to be alone. And I realize now, in order to heal you have to spend time alone. Like, you have to be okay with being alone. In order to wake up, in order to be yourself, you have to hit rock bottom. Like, hit a breakdown, like a true breakdown, in order to break through. I have never been so happy with myself. I've never been so at peace, and I can finally say that I'm happy and I'm home, and I just feel so enlightened. And I'm so grateful every single day for everything, for everyone around me, for the people that really took the time to be by my side during my darkest times. Because now I just feel like I have so much love to share, so much knowledge to share, so much happiness to give. So yeah, I feel awesome. I am still going to continue my spiritual path. I feel that I am awake. I'm still practicing though, so with my meditations, I want to end up taking Reiki courses. I want to start volunteering with animals. I really want to just give back. If you ever have any questions about anything spiritual, like, I can do my best to answer you from what I've experienced, because everyone's spiritual journey is different. We are our own soul, and our soul has a soul purpose. And I feel like I am finally ready to show the world the true me. And I don't have to hide anymore, and I don't feel as isolated anymore. I don't feel rejected anymore. Everything around me is just so beautiful, and I see the light in everything, and everything has a meaning, everything has a lesson. Now my perspective on life is just, if something bad happens, it's like, no, even though this is bad, something good is going to come out of it. I know it. And I'm more optimistic than I once was. I'm able to sense negativity easier. I'm able to see the types of personalities and energies that I don't want to mess with. I'm able to see these things much easier now, and I know how to react now. And it's more so not being aggressive or violent. It's just taking a step back, blessing them, like sending them love and light. I just do me. Like, I'm literally just doing me. And I'm happy. So thank you guys so much for watching, and tune in next time. Peace.